Good afternoon, everyone. Ken Morgan here. So thankful to be able to have this time to share with you our church's plan for resuming in-person worship services on June 28th. We've been sharing now for several weeks that was the target date we were going to use as a church family. Our reason for that date is our Bishop Ryan and our South Georgia Conference leadership have encouraged us as churches to look at a rolling restart either on June 21st or June 28th. And we as a church administrative board felt like that June 28th was the day to start for that. June 21st is Father's Day, and we wanted families to be able to have that time together with their father celebrating that special day. Also gave us another week to prepare for what our in-person worship services are going to look like. And so I just want to thank you so much, church family, for all your prayers for us, for wisdom, for guidance. I want to thank you so much for your patience. I know we're all ready to get back to worshiping together as a church family. I'm so excited about that. It is so tough not being able to be together the way that we've been in, but knowing that we're just a few weeks away from being able to worship together is a great, great blessing. And so I want to let you know that just in the last half hour, so this afternoon, you have received an email from me regarding our plan to resume church services. And so it's an attachment you got in an email that I want to encourage you to look over. Also, there'll be a link that we'll share with you to a YouTube video if you're not someone who's on Facebook. But bottom line, this is what I want you to be aware of as we resume church services on June 28th, is that we are looking at our services to be safe. We're looking for them to just be sanitized, and we're looking for them to be anointed by the Holy Spirit. So it's going to be a great time together. So here's our plan. We're going to have 3 different church services starting on June 28th. Our first worship service will be 8 in the morning. It will be outside underneath the oak trees, and we're looking forward to that time together. We've received permission from the city to be able to close off the street, and so we'll be able to safely be outside as we worship together. The reason we're meeting outside is that as of right now, what we're being told is that singing inside creates more of an opportunity for the coronavirus to spread. And so churches are encouraged to sing outside as a congregation, but not inside. So on that Sunday, we'll have an 8 o'clock worship service outside underneath the oak trees. We want to encourage you to bring your own camping chair with you. We want to encourage you to dress very casually because it is summertime. And so I know that first Sunday that I've come for that service, I'm going to wear shorts and a t-shirt and my chacos to worship in. And so wear comfortable clothes, bring your camping chair, and then also encourage you to bring cold, non-alcoholic beverages with you that day. And so it'll be outside. All of our worship services are going to be family style. At this point in time, we're unable to provide a nursery and children's church. We are working on that. We are reaching out to local daycares and other churches to find out their plan. We're reading on what the CDC is advising churches to do. So we are working on a plan for nurseries and children's church. We just won't start with those at the beginning. And so we're going to have this 8 o'clock worship service outside, be praise and worship, be acoustic style in nature. Then at 9:30, we will have another praise and worship service inside the sanctuary. And that service will be a service where masks are required. The reason we're doing a service where masks are required is that we have some of our church family that is excited about returning to church services, but also feels like it's important to have that protection of wearing a mask. And so that 9:30 service will be inside the sanctuary. Mask will be required. There will be no congregational singing. But we will have the praise team. We'll have several members of the praise team who will be singing some different songs of worship that morning. We're going to be able to worship. It just won't be singing those songs. It's a tough thing to do, but it's something that we'll be able to do. Also, our praise team will be safely distanced from one another and also from our congregation. So the 9:30 service will be praise and worship inside, mask required, no congregational singing. And then we're going to have 11 o'clock worship service. It'll be our traditional worship service. And at that worship service, mass will be optional. And there will also be no congregational singing, no choir at this time. And so we will have someone helping to lead the worship services, as Keith's been doing. We will also have soloists, as we've been doing. So 11 o'clock will look very much like what our online worship service has looked like, except as people gather here, Mass will be optional, and there will be no congregational singing. We will continue to offer online church services. We have some of our church family that is going to kind of wait and see how the services begin to kind of find their rhythm. Also, some of the folks are going to wait a little bit longer. We want everyone to do whatever you feel is best for you to do, whether that's coming in person to worship, whether it's staying at home and waiting a little bit longer and watching online. We will continue to have online worship services, and also we will continue to have online Sunday school teaching as well. As we are looking to resume in-person worship services again, we've been instructed by the South Georgia Conference leadership to begin with one ministry area at a time. So on Sunday mornings, that's why we're starting with worship services, but not yet Sunday school. We are working on Sunday school, having conversations for how and when we're able to safely meet back together for Sunday school, and make sure we have the room and to be able to do that. And trying to think through what does that look like for adults, teenagers, and children. And so as we develop that plan, we will share it with the church family, and when we feel like we know how and when to safely meet together for Sunday school, in person at church, then we will let people know, and when we're going to start that back up. We have some Sunday schools that are meeting outside together as a group at a church member's location. So if that's something that you want to do, we encourage you to pray through that. But they've been having a great time together. So another option for your Sunday school group right now, while you're waiting for in-person here at the church, is maybe look to meet off campus at someone's house. It's important to understand that with anything that we do here, whether it's worship services or any other ministry opportunity, that we're going to be practicing the guidelines that are being given to us by our national, state, local leaders, as well as from our South Georgia Conference leadership. That means we'll be practicing safe distancing, both outside for the worship service, inside here in the sanctuary. We will have seating every other row, and we will look to make reservations. You will be able to read that on your form. The reason we're asking for reservations is it's going to help us to be able to maximize the amount of space that we'll need inside the church and outside as well. You will receive an email that comes from Teresa on the Monday morning prior to June 28th. And then each week after that, you will receive an email on Mondays at 10 a.m. And in that email will be a link that you'll click, and it will guide you through the process of reserving a place for worship services. Again, we're doing that so we want to make sure we have enough room for each environment we're in. We don't have to turn anybody away. And the other side of it is if we do maximize, let's say, the inside of the sanctuary here, then we will look to have seating over in the social hall and have an overflow where you would watch the church service on the screen that's in there. And so we're trying to make preparations as we meet together. If we maximize the seating in the sanctuary, there will be overflow where folks could worship together, watching the church service on the screen in Many things I'm talking about right now, as we get closer to the date of church resuming again in person, there'll be some other shorter videos kind of explaining the process, what to expect when you come back to church. So we talked about Sunday worship service, 8 o'clock, outside, congregational singing, and yes, masks are optional outside. 9:30 worship service, praise and worship service. Inside the sanctuary, masks are required to help provide a safe place for those that mask is important. And then no congregational singing. 11 o'clock will be traditional worship service. Inside the sanctuary, mask optional, no congregational singing at that time. We're asking for reservations for 8, 9:30, and 11 o'clock worship services. You will receive that in an email, and you'll follow those instructions to fill out your time. If we maximize the inside of the sanctuary where we're doing reservations, then there will be an overflow reservation that can take place over in the social hall where you'll watch the church service on the screen, but together with the church family over there. Again, as we start at the beginning here, no nursery or children's church at the beginning. It'll be family-style worship services. And all 3 worship services, we're going to look to be 45 minutes in length. And try to keep them short, on point, but full of the Holy Spirit. We're working on plans for nursery and children's church as well. As it relates to other ministries like Sunday school, as I mentioned a moment ago, we won't start Sunday school at the beginning. We are working on plans for how to safely do Sunday school. Children and youth ministries also have begun to restart or resume their ministries. The youth group is doing in-person small groups again, kind of taking it small. Children's ministry has been doing some drive-through events. But I know that both children and youth ministries are working on some summer scheduled ministry events for families and youth to be able to participate in. So just be aware that there'll be more coming related to children and youth as we get closer to starting again those ministries at our church family in person. Again, when it comes to baptisms, you'll be able to read that if you want to be baptized, or child baptized, infant baptized, just contact me and we'll figure out when to do that and a safe way to be able to do it. Also, communion. We're having our car communion, drive-through communion. Our next one will be on June the 24th from 5 to 7. Look forward to having you come out for that. As we resume in-person worship services, we will look to bring back in communion. It'll be through disposable pre-filled communion cups, and there'll be more instructions to come when we get closer to doing in-person communion as well. Again, I want to thank you for your prayers for us. Continue to pray for God to give us wisdom and understanding as we go through this process of resuming in-person church worship services and ministry again. And we appreciate all the feedback and insight. It gives us a lot of helpful direction for what our church family is ready for, and also for what we're able to do as a church family. Again, feel free to read over this email, the insert and the attachment that comes with it. If you have any questions, please feel free to call the church at any time. Talk with me, talk with Teresa, and we'll be glad to share with you all that. One area that I failed to mention, and let me bring that up right now, a couple of quick things. One is that bulletins will be sent through email on the Thursday before. Offering will be no longer passed to one another. There'll be a location in the churches where you can put those. Also, again, we're encouraging safe distancing, so no touch while we're here. We won't have our greeting time where we're shaking hands or hugging. We'll do more fun, creative ways of saying hello to one another in our church services. Our ushers are going to help with seating here in the sanctuary and outside, but particularly inside the sanctuary, it'll be like a wedding service. So you kind of be guided where you'll be sitting at that day. And then we will have a team that's helping to sanitize the church after each worship service. We have plenty of supplies to be able to do that. We'll also have hand sanitizer available for folks to use entering and leaving church that day. And we will have a team specifically working to clean the restrooms, other restrooms available, and we'll have someone helping to sanitize that after each time. So again, we're looking all the ways to safely do church again, but we're just so ready to come back and worship, y'all. It's going to be different, but yeah, what's not different is that heart that Jesus has for you and me. What's not different is that joy that we have to gather together in Jesus' name to worship Him. And again, as we go through this process, just like we did in this process right now, we're going to learn, we're going to adapt, we're going to be flexible, and we're going to be filled with God's grace to seek His heart and that joy of being back together with one another and worshiping the Lord. So listen, I love you. Again, so thankful to be a part of this church family. Appreciate your prayers and support through it all. Continue to pray, God, guide us and directions. And more than anything, Lord, just let your Holy Spirit come, move in powerful ways as we meet again for worship. Be looking for that church email and the attachment where you can read more about our church plan for resuming in-person worship services. If you have any questions, please call me or Teresa here at the church office. But we love you. God bless you. Have a wonderful day.